Hello and welcome to your 25 minutes glutes and legs workout. For today's workout, the equipment that we will be using is, of course, your clear space around your mat space or gym space, a towel perhaps, some water, your smile, your dumbbells, and because we will be doing some hip thrusts today, we will be needing a soft surface so that you can recline back on your back comfortably. You can use, if you're at home, a sofa, or if you're at a gym, a bench. Or if you're like me and you just utilize whatever you have lying in your home, I'm actually using a cushion, which is that right there. I'm actually using a cushion that is comfortable for my back and easy to conduct hip thrusts. For the weight ranges today, I would highly recommend grabbing a couple set of weight ranges because we will be going through a series of different exercises, and you will find that during the workout, you might want to go heavier for some exercises and lighter for some of the exercises depending on what we're doing. I have listed some recommended numbers on the screen here. Again, these numbers are just a recommendation. It does not necessarily mean that these are the exact numbers that you should use. Again, if you have some set of ranges of dumbbells, then I would highly recommend grabbing a couple of the weight ranges so that you can assess which weight feels the most appropriate for depending on which exercise we are doing today. As a short disclaimer to all of my videos, if at any time you feel numbness, tingling, or dizziness, please stop the workout, take a water break, assess the situation, and if it feels appropriate to come back to this workout, please come back, but if not, coming back to this workout at a later time. Today's workout is definitely going to be on the challenging side, but not impossible. You got this, I believe in you, and without further ado, let's just go ahead and get sweaty.
first exercise, we will start with our single leg hip thrust. The ones that you see on the screen here is weighted version, meaning I have the dumbbell on the left hip, but you can always feel free to do these without the weight. To start, we'll be on the left leg planted on the floor, right leg slightly bent. The weight, if you're using a weight, will be on that left hip, inhaling on the way down, exhaling to lift. The mid and the low back are off of the surface. Next up are both legs down, hip thrusts. Placing the dumbbell comfortably onto your hips, inhaling on the way down, exhaling to lift. At the top of the motion, squeezing your glutes, especially at the top here. If your neck starts to feel tension, making sure your hand is slightly supporting the back of your head. Next up are static hold hip thrusts with abductions. Similar to what we just did earlier, all you're going to do is move your knees outwards, exhaling to move out, inhale in the center, and for this one, making sure your hips are lifted off in that position the whole time. For weighted rack squats, on the inhalation, we're going to drop down into your deep squat, sitting into your imaginary chair, hips back. Exhalation on the way up into the neutral, keeping your gaze and the chest upright and the dumbbells by your shoulders. In comparison to squats, this deadlift is a little bit different because the key here is to make sure your knees are slightly bent and you're not pulling from your low back in this motion, but rather you're keeping your core nice and tight, and your chest and your eye gaze is now facing more towards the floor, but the eye gaze is not looking directly at your toes, but about 2 feet distance away. Make sure to keep your hips nice and back, your core is nice and tight, and you should be feeling more weight into your heels than the toes. For back lunges, inhaling on the way back, exhaling to bring that right foot back into that starting neutral position. For the left foot, you should feel nice and grounded into the floor here, and the right heel will be lifting every time you bring that foot back. Check in with your front leg knee. Make sure that front knee is not going past your ankles or your toes. our sumo squats, inhaling on the way down, exhaling to lift. The difference between a sumo and a regular is that your toes are now facing more towards the sides in a 45-degree angle, keeping the core tight, your chest upright, and your eye gaze upward as well. Make sure to keep your hips back, and you should be feeling more emphasis into your heels than the toes for your body weight. Next, we will transition onto the floor, grabbing a single dumbbell, placing them on your hips like we did in the hip thrust in the beginning, inhaling on the way to the bottom, hovering your glutes off the floor the whole time, and exhaling to lift. Squeeze your glutes, especially at the top. You should almost be able to lift your toes off the floor here in glute bridge. You should be feeling more into your heels. Similar to glute bridges, this is single leg glute bridges. The main difference is we'll start with the right leg lifted off the floor. Again, hovering the hips off the floor the whole time, inhaling on the bottom, exhaling to lift, and placing that single dumbbell comfortably on your hips. Coming into your side lying position on your left hand side, the right leg will be the one that is working at the top, inhaling at the bottom, exhaling to lift, keeping the dumbbell at your right hip so that it is bearing the resistance to work for the straight leg raises. The last exercise of the day is quite challenging, but you got this. Similar to coming into your side lying raises, we're gonna be on your elbows and your knee now. The right leg is going to be lifting off of that bottom leg, and at the same time, your hips are gonna be moving. Inhale at the bottom, exhaling to lift. In this static hold, make sure to keep the hips up and that top leg up off of that bottom leg. You got this. We are almost there.